Okay, folks. Good morning. So here we are where we left off yesterday, which is all the rivetry and such on this A10 is complete. And let's go ahead and zoom this in a little bit. Man, there's got to be a quicker way to do this. Configure video. Come on. Should be like a button you could immediately do that on. Let's go. Apply. Okay. Yeah, and here I don't have to worry about the video being reversed because it isn't. So this is where we're going to start off with this little guy right here. And one of the things I want to do is I want to finish this thing all the way through, even with markings in the individual tank. Something that I haven't necessarily done with everything because I'm still trying to gather info, but I think we're going to start with this one because this one's a little bit more specific. I have less choices with this particular vehicle than many of the other ones. And I should have my phone handy. Yeah, okay. So this is an A10 cruiser tank with a close support 94 millimeter gun. And these were normally used in HQ sections of units. So I'm specifically building my stuff for Operation Crusader. Not that it makes any difference, but just for consistency. These are all going to be for Operation Crusader. And if I look at my orders of battles that I've been able to putz around and find from this one document on this one text by a gentleman called Peter Brown, who is apparently some kind of an expert on British tanks. He has kind of an order of battle here, and I want to compare that to the micromark list. And I think between those two things, I should be able to identify what I'm willing to commit this particular vehicle to being part of. The example that I found online of this beautifully painted vehicle, and I do mean beautifully painted vehicle, here is what I'm going to be inspired by. So there's going to be some of the details of this particular vehicle. I'm probably going to try to replicate in some form or another. And this is the vehicle in question. This is absolutely gorgeous, the job that this person did. But there are some what I seem to think are errors in how they marked this thing up. And we'll get to that in a second. And this is one that's actually off of a link off of ScaleMates. So, on the back of this tank is a really chipped Jeroboa, which would identify this as a 7th Armored Division vehicle. And that's good because that's what we want. So that part is fine. If you look at the document that I am trying to piece together from many different sources, you can tell that. Well, let me back up a little bit. The research that I have found on my own, without consulting somebody that says, "Hey, well, this is what it is, and this is what it," if I had never, from some kind of an expert, between Micromark and this Peter Brown on my own. I want to make sure that what I've come up with and what those two have come up with all jives. So what I have been able to find out is that in the 7th Armored Division, the 4th Armored Brigade, there's three armored brigades. There's 2 armored brigades and an attached one. The 4th Armored Brigade is all honeys. 3 regiments in there, all honeys. The 7th Armored Brigade is 3 regiments. The 7th Queens, the 2nd RTR, and the 6th RTR. The 6th RTR is the Blue Regiment, meaning it's got blue markings on it, and it's all Crusaders. The 2nd RTR is the Yellow Regiment, meaning it's got yellow markings on it. And by markings, I mean, like either the circle, the square, or whatever, depending on which particular squadron within that regiment. And it apparently was equipped with A13s. These A13s. And the 7th RTR is a mix of Crusaders, A13s, and A10s. And in the HQ of the 7th Armored Brigade, so in other words, the few tanks that are in charge of all 3 of those regiments, there's A9s and A10s. That's what I found out on my own. Now, comparing that with the other things that I've come across, Mr. Peter Brown here, come on, switch to the sheet. Excel does not like to behave on the phone. Okay, so according to Mr. Peter Brown, and we're going to focus on the 7th Armored Division, because everybody else seems to concur with the Stuarts. The Stuarts are an issue in the 4th Armored Brigade. The 7th Armored Brigade, the brigade HQ is 10 A9s and A10s. Okay, so that jives the same. 2nd RTR, all A13s. 6 RTR, all Crusaders. That all jives. It's the 7th Queens that's kind of the wild card. And according to Mr. Peter Brown, in this thread, 20 Crusaders in Squadron A, 16 A13s in Squadron B, and 21 A10s in Squadron C. Now, it doesn't say whether it's close support A10s or whether it's the A10s with the 2-pounder, that's normally the configuration of this tank. So, if we just had that information, and I wanted to make this vehicle some kind of markings, I really have 2 choices. I'm either going to put it in the brigade HQ of the 7th Armored Brigade, or I'm going to put it in the C Squadron of the 7th Queen's Hussars. With that said, since it is a close support tank, it would be in the HQ section of the C Squadron, if at all. So that's really my 2 options if I want to use this for Operation Crusader. There is one other weird option, and that's if I wanted to put this in the 1st RTR of the Tobruk garrison, which I don't want to do, okay, because they're stuck there in Tobruk, and although they were involved in a lot of actions, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit less of a fluid situation. I want to do stuff that involves the airfield at City Rizai. Rizai, damn it, I've watched Tick too much. I'm already miscalling it how he says it. City Rizai, that's where my focus is. Okay? So that's really my 2 options. Now let's compare that to the Micromark list and see if we can come up with a decision. I know this is anal retentive shit, but this is what I like. Go to my files, and we're going to look at this particular document just once. Okay, and if I look at the 7th Hussars, and sometimes it's listed as 7th Hussars or 7th Queen's Hussars. No, here it is, a jog. One squadron, and it's listed in order, A, B, C. But it doesn't say which one, but it is. One squadron, it's all Crusaders. The next squadron is all A13s. And one squadron that is all A10s. Now, one thing that's interesting, in the A13 list, it says in the squadron HQ, there's 2 A13 tanks and then 2 A13 close support. In the other document, in the other thread by Peter Brown, he claims, I don't know if it was making a reference to this specific list, I don't believe he was, but he mentioned that there's no A13s close support. So there was no A13 cruisers that had a close support tank barrel. One with a close support. It was used mainly to fire smoke. So with that said, and here in that last squadron, it shows them as all A10s, none of them close support. So there could be an error there. But the regimental headquarters of the 7th Queen Hussars shows there's 4 Crusaders 1s and 2 A10s. So that's where this is going to be a regimental HQ vehicle of the 7th Queen Hussars of the 7th Armor Brigade of the 7th Armored Division. A lot of 7s there. 777. One of 2. Now, I'm going to put arms of service markings on this thing. So this is going to have red numerals. And we're going to mark the hell out of this thing up because it is an HQ vehicle. They tend to be a little bit more loud and proud. It's going to have red markings. And the question is what shape are they going to be? And there's going to be a little HQ inside the symbol. So the question is, which symbol does it have? And you think the German shit's complicated. It's not. Because for one thing, the Germans don't use regiment when they mean battalion. So that, you just eliminate that altogether. And I've gotten more natural to that, but, to me, a regiment has multiple battalions in it. Because I'm used to the way everybody else does it other than the British. And I know why the British do it, because they used to be cavalry squadrons. Yeah, whatever. Okay, but this isn't horses anymore, folks. Let's go to the 7th Armored Brigade, Queen's Own Hussars. Oh, shit. I need to get out of this article. I'm not familiar with where the, what the buttons at the bottom. Like I said, this Excel on the phone is not handy. I don't do it on here. I transferred it over here. It's for easy viewing. So if I look at 7th Armored Division, the HQ is going to have a diamond. Okay? So let me write some of this stuff down so I don't go like, what did I mean? What did I mean? Thank you. All right, so we're going to have A10, red diamond, okay, it's going to have HQ inside of it, okay, it's going to have green 65, on the little placard. They don't always have it, but I'm going to commit to what it is. Ooh, I think I just fucked up. That's why you gotta write all this stuff down. If I want this to be right? Um, I guess it could also have been in the 7th Armored Brigade HQ as well. There's not any place where it says A10 close support. There's 5 A9 close supports in the 7th Armored Brigade HQ. I'm going to put it where I thought it was where I was going to put it. Okay, so that's 65 because if it was the Armor Brigade HQ, it'd be green 49. Okay, so that's where we're going to put it. Now, let's go ahead and turn off this alarm. We don't need that in a few minutes. I think we're awake today. Now, the things I don't care about very much, tank numbers. I'm just going to this gallery here. This particular tank comes from a set of instructions that this guy painted as a set of instructions by, see if I can find it here off ScaleMates. It was an A10 close support, and the tanks are almost all of them that come in the decal set are for the 2nd Armored Division, so it's for the wrong thing. But there are tanks that have that tank number, so I'm just going to go with one of them. I'm not so worried about making sure that I've got because I don't even know what it is, and I'm going to have to make up a name too, okay? Maybe. So, this particular tank is called, if we can get this guy's head out of the way, and it's written back here in the engine deck, something that I don't think I'm going to do. This is T9248. Now, this particular vehicle that he painted has Battle of Crusader markings. On it. Has these little red, white, red flashing. That's Operation Crusader. And he made it for 7th Armored Division. However, the arm of service markings that he used is green 63. And normally I would think, hey, maybe all the research that I did is wrong. Maybe this guy's onto something. So I double checked my research, and here's the decal set that comes with that particular model from Gecko. And one of the markings of the option has that green 63 decal. Why is that not coming up on the screen? Down here at the bottom. See it there? And the rest of the markings are for the 2nd Armored. So he just changed one thing for the other. But all of these vehicles are all for the Armored Division. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and you can call this one, since this is a HQ vehicle for the 2nd Armored Division. This tank 9252 is what I'm going to go to. Tank 9252. That's what this one's going to be called. Because there was one that was that. And it was an HQ vehicle. And it didn't have a nickname. One of them was called Bullpup. That's a different one. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, though. That'll be the last thing that we're going to do. Okay, so now we've got all the things that we need to do to kind of point me in the right direction. Point me in the wrong direction? I hope not. This thing's going to be pretty busy because it is an HQ vehicle, so it's going to have a lot of flashing and stuff. So the first thing I need to do is, where am I going to put these decals? Let's pull out some of these decals and see if I have to hand paint the 65. The green, the green 65. See if I have to do that. Welcome, Ben. Which I'm not afraid of doing. And one thing that we're going to try is we're going to test out these District Miniatures decals and see if they're worth a damn. I hope they are. I hope they're the best decals I've ever seen in my entire life. No pressure. Now I need to find the ones from Alaran. Who knows where the hell they are? Because that's where the other ones came in. And everything like showed up at the wrong time. So let me see if I can track them down. They should have come in and I should have put them in this little envelope. Whether or not I did that. That's the German one. Okay, here they are. So let's see if we've got any green 65s here in these Alaran decals. And I do. I got some green 65s. I got 3 sets of them here. Okay, and we've used these before. These are great. Okay, so let's get water in the water container and I'll be right back. Here's that Horch I was talking about yesterday. All right. So if we're getting ready to do decals, one thing that needs to be in my arsenal is the clear coat. So we're going to put the decals. So we can go ahead and put that and it can dry a little bit before we start micro setting and micro soling. And then while that's setting, we're going to clean some of this stuff up because I'm getting the Huns have attacked. Here we go. I want to make sure this is a completely clean. All right, so what I like to do is I like to put this in every place it could possibly be. And I'm just worried about the Jeroboam markings and the arm of service markings. So we're going to put some back here. We're going to put some clear coat here because sometimes it's on the back of the turret. Potentially here, potentially here, potentially the fender, potentially the other fender. The middle of the hull. Might put it here. Fender. Fender. That's it. That's the only places that they could possibly be. Oh. I'm not going to put it on the front of the turret there. There's an HQ marking on that on this other vehicle, and I kind of like what they did there. All right, so we'll rinse that out. And that's going to take a few minutes to do its thing. And I did find the horn, by the way, yesterday. Yeah, I watched another episode of that Rogue Heroes, and it's funny because it all takes place during Operation Crusader, supposedly. But there's just so many things that I just can't enjoy. You know, huge errors. What I would consider huge errors, but they're attacking this airfield. There's a German half-track that shows up that's, too late looking, and it has second Panzer divisions from Normandy marking, so they got the trident on them, and it's like, come on, man! All you had to do is consult us. We would have told you. Us war gamers would have told you. Yeah, you don't want me on a movie set. I'd be like, what are you doing over there with your beret and shit, weird ass people. Holly Weirds. District Miniatures. I hope you guys are good because, man, these guys make all kinds of shit. And their shipping is really cheap. Like, these are like $5 a piece. I ordered 2 of them. Where's the other thing I ordered from? Or did I just... Oh, they're in here. It's the weight markers, which I'm going to need those for late war. It doesn't seem like in the desert they consistently use them. Yeah, this is the decal sheet. It's all one decal also, which isn't a problem with the square one. This one might be fun since they're all round. The bridge marker set. And a sticker. We'll turn this into a magnet, put it on my toolbox outside. Unless their decals suck, in which case I won't. See, this is why nobody could sponsor me, because, I'm going to call them out. I hope it's the greatest decals I've ever encountered. So on the back of this, there's other information. Now I gotta see if this jives with the other info I've got. Bloody hell. UK Middle East Arm of Service Markings, 41 to 44. Armored Car Regiment, 76 green blue. Yeah, that jives. Senior Armor Brigade HQ 71, right? Junior Armor Brigade HQ 65, 68 green. Yep. Infantry Brigade. Yep. For additional detail and markings and placement, see 1. Divisions of the British Army Embellis. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything new. Seems like I don't have anything that contradicts that. There's other stuff written in this document. Warning, Humbrol matte varnish should only be applied by airbrush since other methods, i.e. brushing, will dissolve the decal. Okay, well, I don't use Humbrol products. They're not readily available here in the United States. So we're just going to do one at a time, meaning I may have other vehicles that have green 65 on them, and I hand painted them on this guy, but I'm not going to I don't have to hand paint him if I don't want to. I don't know what I just said. I'm still trying to wake up. Don't mind me, I'm asleep. Sounds like the converted A10 that was used in Save It Private Ryan and Band of Brothers. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, and they didn't bother changing the decals either on it. And there's some Opal Blitzen there that have Opal Blitzen that have 3-color camouflage and shit like that. You know, stuff that I'm pausing it. Okay, go back to that frame. A Kubelwagen that has the Balkenkreuz in the wrong location. You know, I didn't even pick on the ME-109s that are, you know, a lot of them are Spanish ones or planes that aren't 109s supposed to be that. I can see that. We know those things aren't available. So, what else was big? Lots of cute little trucks in there. It's not very good, unfortunately. I mean, I wanted it to be awesome because, like, let's see World War II from a good World War II series from a non-American perspective. I'm not somebody that wants like, oh, it's got to have American stuff in it. Like, no, let's see the other stuff. And I'm just not buying what's his name. It's an actor, so of course I can't think of what his name is. The Spy Master in drag. I'm like, why did that have to be in there? You know? They're Ford trucks. Not all of them. A couple of them were CMPs. They had a little bow tie, which I was surprised to see. I actually didn't know that they were Chevrolet products. Yeah, the trucks are really cute. All of them. Okay, so 2 green 65s. Let's go ahead and cut them out of here. Did you like the show? We're on episode, I think we finished episode 3. And these decals are not the same scale as these. These are either smaller or these are bigger. Well, it's a HQ vehicle, so I'm going to use a big decal here for the back because there's lots of space on it. You know, the only character I like is Sterling. I like his character for some reason. But then after it, I'm sure I'm going to read up on it and, you know. So if we put a Jeroboam back here, which there's plenty of space for, where do I put it at the front? God, I'm half tempted to put the 65 here in the middle on the bottom, and then the Jeroboam over here by the vision slot. That just seems like the right place for it. Where is the super tweezers? Let's see if that fits on here. You know, I think we need to put a little one. I'm actually going to put a little one on both, now that I'm looking at it. Series 2 not available here till Wednesday. I don't think it's been released. We got to finish watching Series 1 because Series 1 gets removed from us. So, what's his name? That one guy always plays an unpleasant guy. The guy that was off of Game of Thrones. I don't really care for that actor. And the Irish guy is really getting on my nerves. Like, I wouldn't want somebody like that. That's just a lunatic. I'll have to go back and, you know, read the real history on these people because, you know, I'm not going to learn history from Hollywood. It gives you kind of some inspiration. You know, actually, what I've liked the most is, like, you know, what's the background of these places look like? You know, like the if the Qatar depression or, you know, what have you. It's not the Qatar depression, but wherever they happen to be. Although it might be filmed in the Qatar depression. Just the ground cover for the desert. Sean Bean? No, we're talking about two different things. Sean Bean's not Irish. He's Yorkist, isn't he? I think. Something like that. Oh, I like Sean Bean. I like Sean Bean in everything, pretty much. That makes me a beaner. I like Sean Bean. No, who's the guy that plays the guy that's the turncoat? I think his name is Alfie something or another. I don't like that guy. The guy that played the Russian guy in John Wick. Alfie Allen. Don't like Alfie Allen. Sorry. Sorry, mate. Came back and I heard you say someone is Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah, that series definitely went to shit when they killed him off. And no, he doesn't always die. He doesn't die in that miniseries, that Napoleonic miniseries, and he doesn't die in that one where he plays special forces in the desert. Yeah, I don't think you've seen that series, and I don't know. I'm not done with it yet, but I don't think it's worth watching. Dominic West. Dominic West and drag. You know, if somebody's going to pretend to be a woman, that's probably not a good choice. All right, let's cut these little guys off. Ooh, their paper's thicker. That's the thing about Game of Thrones is that did anybody watch the second series? Only reason I watched the first one is because everybody was watching it, so there was like something to comment about. You know, it's like, oh, now I can have a conversation about with people about something that we've all seen. Not that it's worth a damn. You know, half the characters I didn't like, and people's opinions vary dramatically over the characters. There's characters that people love that I can't stand. Um, there's two characters in particular that most people really like. It's the whole ketchup. They're ketchup characters. Everybody likes them except me. And whenever their scene came on, I'm like, oh, these fuckers again. But that's what happens when there's a cast of that many people, that many characters. You're gonna find you're gonna dislike about half of them. Only about half. I didn't hear anybody talk about the second Game of Thrones. I think it's because so many of us were so like disliked the ending of the first one. Forget how it ended. The timing of it was just so damn rushed. It was like, all right, well, we got to wrap this whole thing up that's been going on for 7 years in like an hour and a half. It's interesting. Now that I'm looking at this Alaran printing, and I'm looking at this with my +6 nearsightedness, the green that's on the 65 looks like it's got green and black alternating colors. Instead of it being a solid color, it's like green, black, really, really tiny. Now, I won't see that when I put my contacts in, but you saw two clips from the new Game of Thrones and they just blew every ape in the jungle. Just crap. It blew every ape in the jungle. I'm going to have to use that. I'm going to have to use that. Just crap. Yeah, I don't know that anybody liked the ending of Game of Thrones, of the first season. I didn't necessarily have a problem with how it ended. I just didn't. I didn't care for the 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 rushedness, the rush, how it was done. Um, I guess some people were naive and thought that the albino chick. Well, I'll just call her the albino chick because I don't remember what her name is. Which I never liked her character. Was somehow going to end up being like a good person. Like you know, go figure. But everybody was disappointed with Jon Snow. That he was going to be the king. When I never liked Jon Snow. He's one of the catch-up characters for me. Everybody liked Jon Snow, and he was just. I don't like guys that are like, I'm going to lead an army, but somehow they're the most uninspirational character ever. Like if he was a D&D character, his charisma would definitely be a one-digit number. He definitely has a one-digit charisma. I'm not going to say he's a 3 charisma, but he's not over a 9. I wouldn't follow him anywhere. Well, he's one of those guys. I know several people who think that character is the shit, and I'm like, I can't wait for his stupid scene to be over with. You never got past season 3, working my way through the books. I don't blame you for not getting through season 3. Getting past season 3. If you watch Walking Dead, don't go past season 3. Once the governor's gone, it's like that show's not worth watching. Maybe it was never worth watching. Speaking of zombies, I fired up State of Decay yesterday for a little bit and played at nightmare level, which is one up off the most difficult one, and it was a nightmare. Man, it was challenging, but definitely have some supply problems there. Although when you play harder difficulty things, you have to be able to be better at other things. You got to be better at close combat fighting. It's like ferals are just like a nightmare to deal with. I think we made it one day. I didn't import any characters. I just used original. I just created new characters however they came. There's no point in spending that much time on somebody that's not going to make it. All right, let's. Aw, man. I was getting ready to waterboard this thing. Go all the way to the bottom. Hold it all the way underwater. There you go. Bloody surface tension. You will go to the bottom of the pond, sir. There we go. Yeah, like I said, the only reason I watched it, everybody was watching it. Too many ketchup characters. And Arya. I couldn't stand Arya. And there's other characters I didn't like. Those are just two characters that lots of people have fans about. Are fans of. Do enjoy playing the Battles of Westeros board game, though. I played one before I ever played the series, and I couldn't get into it because I hadn't seen it yet. Let's see which one this one is. I need some time for this to settle. Battle of Westeros. Board game. Images. Let's see what it looks like. That's not the one I played. I played Game of Thrones board game. I only played it once. Man, they have a lot of Game of Thrones games. Like a lot. This one. I think it was this one. It was kind of blurry. It had ships on it and land units as well. A Game of Thrones is what it's called. I bet it was probably the first one that came out. Apparently, it's a Fantasy Flight game. I couldn't get into that. I didn't know who any of these people were. As characters as they are described in the books rather than in the actors. It's the Westeros version with the Command and Colors engine by Richard Borg. By the way, Richard Borg is a hell of a nice guy. I see him at the conventions all the time. He lives here in Florida. He's a super nice, positive individual. He's not very much of a gamer. He's a super nice guy. And I think his games are fun. They just don't, they don't motivate me to learn about history. They're too abstract. They're good games. They're just a bit abstract. Now, here's the part where we're going to go, I'm going to label this thing how the guy did on his thing. I'm going to put him at the back of the turret just to be different. It is a HQ vehicle. So, are you reading the books right now? And if so, which character is completely different in the books than in the show? And it's the opposite. Like you've seen who the actor is on the show, and you're wondering, man, that's not a good fit. Or that's a lot. A lot of people that read the books are like, that character doesn't look like that guy. I'm like, well, I don't read that type of books. Like I'm watching whatever this. I'm watching the Rogue Heroes, and I'm like, why they pick that guy to be Auckland? Like, it doesn't even remotely look like him. Stuff like that. And there might be a character that, for instance, you like the actor that plays him, but in the book you hate the character. You know, like the lady that played Lady Stark was a character who I think like the year before was like a main spoiler alert was a main terrorist in the last episode of 2024. So like I couldn't unsee her that way. The actor that played the Tully guy, is the same guy that was Brutus in Rome. You can't unsee shit like that. It's distracting. Who gets he gets murdered while he's taking a leak at a river, doesn't he? I mean, that's what I remember. Or he's taking a bath at a river or something like that. I've heard of die with your boots on. How about like don't die with your dick dangling out. As characters as there's don't don't die with your dick out. On Audible, there is more humor in the books. The guy reading it does tend to channel Sean Bean when reading Ned's lines, even down to his pronunciation of bastard, or it could be base turd, depending if you play it. If you play that item, it's a base turd. What does Sean Bean's accent translate to you guys? I mean, what part of the world is it? He's a Yorkshire guy, isn't he? Like he himself. He doesn't have a very difficult accent to understand. Should do that. Rating of the Games of Thrones actors from an American, from easiest to hardest to understand. No, the Jeroboam is small and the 65 is large. I don't know if that bugs me yet. I haven't decided, but we'll roll with it. Would be described as a northern accent. Okay. He doesn't have a very heavy, difficult accent to understand, or maybe I just heard him enough times that, you know. You know, some people like what's his name, the Hound. The Hound is hard to understand. It's hardish to understand. Um, who's the chubby guy that ends up getting the girl with the overbite? Sam, is his name Sam? His accent's kind of hard to understand. You know, if some of these characters talk slower, they'd be easier to understand. That's half the problem right there. Hold on one second. Um, who else? Jon Snow's not easy to understand. It's not terrible, but it's not easy. You know, Jamie is really easy to understand, but he's not a native English speaker, is he? He's Danish. So I like that actor a lot. And I really like that character. Even though he was a bastard at the beginning, and he kind of got screwed with his redemption. I thought he should have been redeemed, but hey, I don't write shit like that. I didn't write it. Oh, this thing's all like wobbly and stuff. Wobbling shit. Oh, we're gonna have to microsaw the living hell out of this thing. Well, we'll see if this lays flat. If not, we'll just remove it altogether. The old woman accent, whatever her name is, she's super easy to understand. But older women tend to speak slower, I guess. Like the Queen. Everything the Queen says, or used to say, no subtitles needed. You know, but she's not just rattling things off left and right. What's her name? What's the you know, the actress that everybody likes, this lady. The lady from the Avengers. Avengers show. Right? Isn't that what it's called? Not that I ever watched it. Diana Rigg. Yeah. Mrs. James Bond. Well, I tend to forget that because that was the worst James Bond by a long shot. And not because he was Australian, because he had zero charisma. Although some of those Facebook Bond fan pages are ridiculous. Some people, oh, it's the best one. I'm like, you're obviously just on drugs. I mean, Diana Rigg might have been fine as a Miss James Bond, but Telly Savalas is a villain. He's so unvillain like. I don't know that I'm going to be super happy with any of those. Now, I've just noticed something that may or may not be an issue. And it seems like this turret is way too tall. The gap that's being minded there is a bit much. I would have been. It would have been Roger Moore, but he turned it down because he thought he couldn't get out of the Saint series contract. Well, anybody would have been an improvement. I'm a Roger Moore fan, so, that would have been fine with me. Let me look at let me see if the gap is being minded correctly. A10 tank. Let's go to this one that's in the museum. No, it's right. It just looks. It just looks a bit off. I can't believe I can't go to Bovington. What the fuck? Well, I could pretend to go and, and find all kinds of stuff wrong that would discourage me. I mean, look at that. You know, I mean, maybe it'd be hot in there. Unlikely. That's a bunch of modern shit. I don't give a crap about that. A lot of that stuff is modern shit. Yeah, and we watched all the Bond movies in order. Well, we didn't make it all the way through, but I thought the one that he came back for was going to be horrible, and it wasn't. I mean, it's campy, but it's a campy character. I don't have, and I grew up with it being campy, so one-liners and stuff like that. I just don't understand why everybody has a hard on for Goldfinger. Like I get that Connery's many people's favorite. I get it, and I like Sean Connery, but Goldfinger is, the henchman's a tosser. Like I hate that henchman. He sucks, you know. And like it's a silly plot, and they should rename that episode James Bond with the Tosser and the Flying Lesbians. Sounds like a circus. Well, I mean, they were kind of a circus, right? I mean, if you're trying to take over the world or steal all the gold or something like that, and you got your choice of henchmen, are you going to pick that guy? I'm not. Where's this? Who put this together? Jeez. This is a poorly designed whatever the hell this thing is. Where does that thing go? Oh, it goes in the back, so somehow that's got to squeeze in between the two things. Oh, stupid Nazi bastard. All right. Let's figure out how we're going to do the painting portions here. We got some stripes to do. Lindy Beige has been doing some decent vids of vehicles recently. I love Lindy Beige. His delivery is excellent. He just needs to do something about his hair and his sweaters. I know, that's the thing. I like Lindy Beige, especially his episode on the half tracks. Especially that intermission. That intermission on the half track video, I was watching it alone in the car with headphones on. I busted out laughing when I saw that. He was a guest speaker at Historicon before I knew who he was many years ago. I never got to see him. But I appreciate people who have energy. I don't like people that are like low energy kind of presenters, regardless of, of how knowledgeable they might be. If they just drone on and on about stuff, I'm like, not very interested. Hope this series has ended dispute between the producers and Amazon, who own Bond. Amazon wants to turn Bond into a franchise. A la Marvel. I don't know who Marvel is. I don't know. Who's this new James Bond guy? They should have gotten freaking... they should have gotten Cavill to do it. Or somebody like that. I don't know who this other guy is. Although I'm surprised they never got... all these people are too old now. They waited too long. There's too much like bickering or whatever. Who's the guy that looks the part to me? He looks the part to me, whether or not he just seems to be in not very good movies. Clive Owen. Clive Owen should have been one. But to me, he just looks the part. Whether or not he could have pulled it off or whatever, because he's in a bunch of stuff that's like, man, he should have been in something better than that. Maybe he's just not that good of an actor. But I guess you just should be happy whoever they pick, it's not a woke woman. All right, so let's see what we've got on this. on these markings. So if we want to do that, there'd be a diamond there. There's going to be a diamond on the side back here. That's good. And a diamond on the side back there. That's good. Should probably get those out of the way and paint those diamonds. So we'll just have it on the turret. That's good enough. I don't need to put one at the front of the turret. That's kind of a crunchy, small little place to be putting that at. Let's do that with the super brush. Let's grab the super brush out here. Bond series in limbo till they can agree on the producers. They can agree or the producers die off. Richard Armitage would have been a good Bond, or Jason. I like Jason Isaacs. I really do. He's one of those. I swear every time I see him, there's something about his facial structure that reminds me of the Canadian guy that just recently died. That I like him in everything, as well. Christopher Plummer. Him and Christopher Plummer have, and a common ancestor. I like both of those guys. I like Jason Isaacs a lot. Richard Armitage. South Korean aircraft crashes. What the fuck? I don't need to see this shit, man. I'm gonna fly soon. And I'm terrified of flying. Okay. And it's not terrorism. It's just a steel bird falling out of the sky. Okay, Richard Armitage. He's younger than I am. Oh crap, I'm too old to play him. I shouldn't be playing him. I'm American. I don't think that I've seen him in anything. Let's see. Hobbit. Haven't seen the Hobbit stuff. I was holding out for my daughter, and my daughter didn't like the Game of Thrones, so. Well, I've seen Captain America, unfortunately. I don't know what the hell he was in. Nope. He can't be James Bond. You know why? He doesn't know how to hold a pistol properly. Get the fuck out of here. It's not a teacup. Get out of here. Oh, man. I don't think I've seen him in anything, or I don't recognize him. Dead Men Tell No. Oh, God. Please don't make me watch another Pirates of the Caribbean. You guys can have Johnny Depp, by the way. He can stay over there. I don't like him, man. He's creepy, weird people. Creepy, weird vibes. I mean, they're an actor, so we know they're all weird, but. I finally got around to seeing GoldenEye. And some of the stunts were just stupid. They're just way over the top stupid. Okay. let's get that diamond going. So, bring out your red dong. Scarlet. No, we're not going to use Scarlet. We're going to use this other one. Yeah, so Connery's definitely my number two. And it's not because I don't like Sean Connery. I like Sean Connery a lot. I think a lot of his movies are like, they could have been better if there were some choices that were made. Of course, you could say that about any of the movies. But the first movie, of course, was dull. And the girl, I can't stand the girl. I'm not a fan of dumb girls, anyways. And she might be a super intelligent person, but her character was dumb as hell. The second one, the plot should have. The plot was fine. I was bored. I actually fell asleep in the middle of it, and I like Robert Shaw a lot. But that Italian girl that was supposed to be Russian, she just didn't do it. She just wasn't very believable. They should have cast somebody else. They just didn't do it for me. Thunderball is my favorite of the Connery ones. I don't, we talked about Goldfinger. I'm bloody tosser, and we were watching it. We were watching the Japanese one, and we're thinking, what was the whole point in him turning into pretending to be a Japanese person? Like, I don't see how that helped him at all. What was the point in that? I have not seen the Never Say Never Again in a long time, in decades. So we skipped over that one. You probably should go back and watch that just to see exactly what it's all about. Now, the tip of this miraculous brush is starting to show its age. So let me see if I have another miraculous brush here that we need to recruit. I've bought several packs of these. I didn't use them all up. And we can't go get one today because that store is closed on Sundays. Let's see what we got here. This is just some of my brushes. It's ridiculous. Okay, this is another super brush, but this one's even shown its age more. These are these brushes that I would call, these are the ones you do faces with. I'm looking for these light this type of thing. These get off me. Now we'll bring this one over here, but that's not the one we're looking for. This one maybe? Nope. This one. This one's not been used. And I'll bring this one over here as well. That one's only been used a few times. I mean, I could use the one I was using. It's just less cleanup. Which version of Thunderball? The original one. Yeah, I haven't seen the other one, the Live and Let the Never Say Never Again. I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in 30 years or whatever. So I can't really judge it. Yeah. Sorry, you don't know how to hold a pistol properly. You can't be a secret agent. Um, right. Let's go to the Galleria. And the diamond is not very squishy. In other words, it's just like a it is just like a well, here's an example of one. It's just like a square turned on its side. So, as a matter of fact, that might actually be a good way to paint it. Is just hold it cockeyed. Yeah. This is a one liner. The size doesn't freaking matter. You just look at the size of the what is the ferrule and then the tip, and that tells you all you need to know. Okay, we're going to put it in between those two rivets so we don't have to deal with rivetry issues. And we're going to make it as big as we can in between those two. Okay, we're going to flip right over to the other side. Yeah, I think Isaacs would have been a good James Bond. He would have. He has a personality very. He would have had a personality very similar to Dalton. He would have been a better. He would have been a better James Bond than he would have Zukov. Oi! I never watched that last episode of that miniseries that he was in, called The Dig or something, or Dig, or which I really liked, and I just missed the last one and haven't been able to get it again. where he plays an archaeologist in 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 Israel, and he's uncovering some kind of a plot. But I haven't seen him in very many things. Oh yeah, they need to make an award for this brush. HQ. Nice. I actually do like the way you guys pronounce that. The H. That one doesn't bother me. Z, I can't get behind Z, folks. You need to change that back. You need to dial that back for me. My wife gets on to me when I say, "Oh, I need to have something on the schedule," and she'll like, "Why are you saying that?" I'm like, "Because it sounds kind of cool. It makes me sound more educated than I am." Okay, now let's dial in the red. Can't wait to paint a tank number with this thing. I can do it with the other ones. It's just there's less cleanup with this thing when you precise. Oh, and you don't need subtitles for Lindy Beige. Or I don't need subtitles for Lindy Beige. Let's just go to the full red. Start adding too many layers on something this small and it's going to get blurry. Peter, what's that guy's name? Peter. The guy that had his show on the History Channel. How to Win with Pole Arms or whatever. He's a Peter something or another. That guy's a Peter. What are you calling him? Peter. He's a Shakespearean type actor or whatever, but I like him. He's got a lot of fucking energy. The Patriot cast. Oh, speaking of Jason Isaacs, I forgot he was in that. What's his name? Peter. Wow, he's way towards the bottom here. Now we're looking at this all wrong. And I didn't like that movie, by the way. I did not. The Patriot cast Peter. Nope. Peter Woodward. I like Peter Woodward. I mean, he's a bit over the top, but he's not like over the top and like freaking boring. You know, everybody has their own opinion. He might drive you guys crazy. I don't know. Like, I don't really like the guy that was in Dunkirk, the British commander. I don't like him. He's very difficult to understand. He's Shakespearean type dude. I know, and he's won a million different awards. Yeah, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't really. He bugs me. Not tremendously so, but oh, Cillian Murphy was in that. I don't really care for him. Kenneth Branagh. He drives me crazy. He's just so damn difficult to understand. If it was meant to schedule, it would be spelled that way, where it follows. The C is always sh. Well, I didn't invent the pronunciation for our languages, so, you know. Schedule. I like it. So there you want to pronounce all the letters, but not in Leicester. That's how it should be said. Leicester. Leicester. Okay, well, lose the E then. Lose the I. Get out of here. Bugger off. Bugger off, I. Aluminium. And why isn't that city in Pennsylvania called Pittsburgh? All right, now we got add a little bit of white. Or maybe I'll be different and do yellow. I'm not a fan of adding yellow to the. Sometimes I do want it to look faded. Let's see what this. Wow, this is in dire need of replacement. This golden yellow is anything but golden. Oh, I was a naughty nunu. Hopefully that won't taint all the other colors that go in there. It's still pinkish. We're just highlighting this. Yeah, he'd had that show on the History Channel called Winning with Whatever. Winning with Chainsaws. He didn't do that one, but, you know. Borg, Berg are forts or castles. Borgen. Borgen in Danish. Oh, Borgen. They're after me, Borgen. The land of Legos. And those butter cookies. What else? That they got some hand creams or whatever that come from Danemark. Danemark. I was watching something on World War II casualties. I'm surprised so many Danes got killed in World War II in the early part of the war, considering they only put up a fight for 6 hours or something like that. And come on, you could do better than that. HQ. We're going to have to add some white to this. There's no doubt about it. We're going to need some. We need more contrast than that. I ain't like that yellow colored. That's about as bright as I'm going to be able to pop it. But it doesn't look very bright anyways. Now I do this kind of stuff, and I could definitely paint the numbers on the German vehicles and make them look decent. Just not going to be able to see it at a distance, but that's, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. It's just not a color that stands out. Looks good enough for me. You know, if I used a decal, I don't know that it would pop anymore. Now, what red is this? Flat red? Yeah, this is how I use for this. Probably. All right, now let's go do these Crusader stripes. That's what's really going to make this thing pop. Close all. Nope, I don't want the news. has some on the fender. Oh, I can get on board with that. Now the front of this one is a little bit different, so we can put it there as well. It's never on any places that you're not able to show the whole darn thing. So in other words, it's never, no, it's not true. Hold on a second. It's, okay, it's angled there. All right, so I can put it on the angle part there as well, which I like how it stands out there. Anything on the back? I just like how this one turned out. It doesn't look like it. Okay. And we have this one in the middle. Monkey in the middle. All right, let's get some black out here. Just a little bit, and too much will come out. Ooh. All right. Let's not use this. We need that brush for miracles. You know, do want to wear it out on things it doesn't need to be worn out on. So we're just going to add, look, this is what I hate about the closure of this. Still got black shit on me. And I'll transfer that onto something else, and I got to fix that. I need to remember, just unscrew the top and just scoop a little out. Peter Woodward. Winning with rivets. Or what have you. Let's remove that. We'll go from there to there. There to there. I'll do the front of the fenders too. Yeah, you get this odd group of people, you know, people that were like off the street. There's always be, you know, a group of like 6 or 8 different people. 1 or 2 of them were always girls. which is fine. You know, winning with Roman weapons or whatever. Thought it was a reasonable show. Let's see, how did I do it the other way? Because I really liked the way I went about it. I think I just did the original color in this and then switched to red. Finished to red all the way up and then did a white at the end. I think that's what we did. How to win with beans and toast. I don't think the Panzer guy's back up, is he? No, he must not. He's doing a. I got a notification he was doing a Facebook Live thing at 9, so I may try to catch that. He's going to get screwed for no good reason. No, that's why we do this, for this experience, not necessarily anything else. Somehow my content gets taken off or whatever. The only people missing out are the DBA folks, because we won't be making any more DBA videos. But I won't be adding any German marching music to any of my videos. That's too much work. Okay. And of course, these markings will be on the turret as well. Let's come back. Oop! We get all vestiges of the pink off. There we go. I just can't imagine how stressful it would be to have some kind of a system where my viewers, or some of my viewers, are paying for content and I'm not able to deliver that content for whatever reason. That's way too much stressful. That's way too stressful for a hobby. I got no interest in going down that road. That creates way too much drama. And the whole point of me even doing this is to get away from drama, to have something that goes well at the beginning of your day, that doesn't create any stress for you. Nice. Now, we do the flashing markings on the turret as well. You put the glasses and step away from this thing. Yeah. I need to fix this running gear on this. God, the A10 is a lot smaller than the A13. Is that really the case? Oh, I'm sorry. But is that really the case? I don't know. It just seems looks kind of odd. What a cool looking tank. And there's still a lot of work to be done to it. But it's going to look stellar. Brilliant. Okay, so this flashing on the turret is a lot narrower than the other ones. But this is beautiful. I don't know that this is an accurate paint scheme or not, but this paint scheme is just absolutely gorgeous. And all that is, well, it looks like you used light stone and then that silver gray on it. Just beautiful. Love it. Yeah, this one's pretty damn narrow. Well, we left enough space front to back for the HQ thing, so that shouldn't interfere with the happenings there. While I'm thinking about this. Drill, baby, drill. That's gonna be too big. And it really is too big. There was a little one around here somewhere. Well, that's a pin. Only thing about these really small drill bits is it's hard to get these jaws to close on them evenly and not have one that's cockeyed a little bit. needs to be a little bit darker. Now, we're going to put that stripe. I'm going to put it between those two rivets there. Should do a food version of his show. Peter Woodward. How to Win with Spotted Dick. How close to the bottom did we go? About that far? Okay. It is. It is. It is. Yes, it is. It is narrower. Tis.
Tis it.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm actually fine with that. I'm actually fine with that. Whoa, easy there, fumblefuck. Hey, keep it down over there. Make sure when I pull this off, I'm not touching any critical ends. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Now let me look at it. Yeah, and I specifically want the one on the turret narrower. Righto. Harumph. Let's put the antenna on there. Let's find a little spare piece of wire. Wish this stuff was cheaper than it is. It's expensive. I can't get it anywhere of the size that I need. I gotta order it. Keep that thing from flying. Okay, let's get our file out here. Okay, we got some tools to paint black. Let me use the little boy's room before I go further. Right back. What's up, Francois? Okay, so hopefully this little guy is dry enough. Let's go back to this one right here. This one should do it right here. More of the same. Another day in retirement. I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of days in a row off. I've been off since we worked a half a day the 24th, and I'm off until the 2nd. And it's really weird to have a bunch of days off and not have anything necessarily to do. I'm trying to get a lot of painting done because then at least have something to show for it. But it's really weird. It's really, really weird to basically go from like, man, I don't have a moment to spare to now I got too much time. And I don't feel bad about it because the place where I'm employed is closed. So you literally walk away from the place and like nothing changes when you until you come back. I mean, it's really the best way. Fire extinguisher here and a fire extinguisher in the back. These things caught fire frequently because it's got two fire extinguishers on the outside of this. And I'm going to go ahead and paint since we're thinking about it. I mean, I know other people that watch a shitload of TV when they have a time off. I'm like, that's a waste of fucking time, man. But if that's what you want to do. I actually had somebody that asked me the question. I was playing a video game, like, what's the point of this? You know, and like they watch a lot of TV. I'm like, at least I'm making decisions. You know? Just watching TV, it doesn't matter whether you watch it or not, it all turns out the same. You know, and I'm disappointed by so much stuff that's on TV all the time that, you know, like programming, that why would I want to watch more of it? I always screw it up some way or another. At least I'm making decisions. I don't understand the interest in watching television or even movies that much. I mean, you're just watching. Or as somebody would have said last night, you're just dogging. Just primed two models from 1988. Did you built the models in 1988 and you just hadn't started painting them? That's good, man. Although something that old, you probably have to. These things collect dust if you leave them out in the elements. Pretty darn easy. I've got some models that I picked up from somebody super cheap, and they're already built, and they're built poorly. And I'm probably going to turn them into wrecks. But the first thing I got to do is I got to take a lot of paint. I got to take a lot of dust off, like a lot of dust. No, they're metal models. Okay. Yeah, unless they're in some enclosed thing. If they're on some shelf or something like that, I mean, these things have like, I may need to wear a dust mask or something like that to dust them off. I mean, it's extreme. But I liked how those two wrecks that I did turned out so much that I'm looking forward to doing more because just something for your infantry to hide behind. An objective, etc. You've always wanted them, but they're super rare and pretty expensive. Bought mine a couple years ago. What are they? What are they? What scale are they? I've got paint from 1988. Elder Ghost Assassins for 40K. I'm sorry, Eldar, not Elder. Eldar Ghost Assassins. You know, I don't like Games Workshop games because of their plot. I'm not interested in it. But I've always liked their miniatures. Especially at the very beginning when they'd put like the name on that stand, what it is. Asuryani Outcasts. Hmm. Reminds me of that video game that they never came out for. The Blizzard never came out with. It was a spin off of StarCraft, and there was a sniper chick you were gonna play, and it was on a cover art of some magazine or something like that, and they never made it. I would have played that. Just the character was really attractive. Eldar Ghost Warrior Assassin. Yeah. I'm not a StarCraft fan, but man, that character was fine. Eldar Ghost Warrior Assassin. And they're not available anymore, huh? Something like this. The Faceless Guys. Kind of reminds me of Zero from Borderlands. This is interesting. Second row, the little ones, okay? Oh, these. Yeah, those are cool. Those are cool. You just paint them or you play the game or. Games Workshop is weird. I understand the mentality between, you make miniatures and you want people to play with your miniatures, so you create a game where you have to use your miniatures. Like, all that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is we're going to discontinue, so now you can't play my game. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, we need to discontinue so the value goes up, but we're not going to make any money on it. It's like, just some of that is so weird. We got to do the rusty bits back here. I'm pretty sure that tube there is going to be rusty, and so is that end going to be. Yeah, I've never played. I had the original 40K book probably around 1988. The real thick one that was beautiful, and the pages wouldn't stay in. Whoever they got to bind it did not do a good job. But it's still like a work of art. I don't really like rule sets that are like a work of art. I'm worried about destroying the book and playing it. And that one, you just turn the pages and the pages would come out. I'm not even sure how I got it. I don't think that I bought it. I must have gotten it from someone. Probably edition 1 or edition 2 or whatever. And I'm just going to go with my gut instinct of what should be rusty and what isn't. We've got enough black there. Let's get orange. No, not that one. I mean, that one would work, but orange brown or light orange or either one of those two. Is this the light orange one? They're both watery as hell. Light brown, any of these. Orange brown. Let's use this one. Watery ass color. Extremely watery ass color. could probably even use the Games Workshop one from 1988. Not Games Workshop, Citadel. It might have been Games Workshop, but this stuff was all known as Citadel. Citadel color, fiery orange. U.S. importer, Games Workshop in Baltimore. I doubt they import there anymore. Contains phenylhexanol. Flammable. What? I call bullshit. Interesting. Fuck it, let's use this. We're talking about Games Workshop. Let's use some Games Workshop paint. Fiery orange. I painted a lot of my figures with their paints. I was a fan of their paints. Still am. I'm a fan of these. Hey, it looks the same color as what I would have made anyways. I have one that I haven't even opened yet. I think it's a Elf Flesh Shadow something. I'm waiting for it to go up in value. Shadow Gray or something. It's supposed to be a rainy ass day today. And hopefully it'll get cold again. Okay. It's almost almost dripping time. I'm not obsessed with putting a tank number on it per se. Let's get the base color here of this silver gray. Oh, that's slate. And let's touch up some stuff. Just making sure these little rivets pop. Any factions of that Warhammer universe you don't care for? And then we're going to do the same thing with the this light tone, wherever the hell it is, not light stone. I said light tone. A10. Yes, that. As soon as I find it, there she is. That's got to be a pretty common thing. Like some game system you play, and there's something in this storyline that's just not your thing, not your cup of tea. Would be for me. I encounter stuff like that all the time. Like, man, this is a pretty good game, but why'd they do this way? I think Space Orcs is pretty silly, but If you're not playing the game in a tournament, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. And nobody would know anybody about it unless you ran your mouth about it. Well, in about 10 minutes or so, I'm going to have to sign off for this morning session. And this thing will be pretty much done, except putting a name on it, a tank number, if I decide to go in that direction. All right, folks, this is where we're going to stop for this morning, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.